Good morning, my name is Laura and I'm going to be making some bagels today. My in-laws are throwing a brunch tomorrow morning and thought it'd be a fun contribution, so let's do it. I'm starting off here with a teaspoon of yeast. I keep my yeast in the fridge. I find it keeps best that way, and at the rate I go through it, it's no big deal. Then I'm adding 4 cups of bread flour. And then I'm adding 2.5 cups of some room temperature water. You don't want it too hot or it will kill your yeast. Then I'm just going to mix it thoroughly, and then I will put the lid on it and let it sit until it's doubled in size. For me, my house is really quite cold, so I was really tempted to stick it outside because it was very warm outside. But I ended up just putting it there in the sun and it worked just fine. Took a couple of hours. So here it's doubled in size, as you can see, and I'm just going to throw it in the mixing bowl so that way the dough hook can do all of it for me. I'm adding another 1/2 teaspoon of yeast, which is what the recipe calls for, and I will link the recipe down in the description box in case anyone wants to make it. So now I need to add another 3 3/4 cup of the bread flour. Now I'm putting in salt, and I made a grave error and I used the tablespoon end. So I ended up doing 3 tablespoons of salt instead of 3 teaspoons. And it was noticeably salty. Not horrible, it was still edible, but it definitely would have tasted better had I used the right side of the scoop. And then I also needed to add 1 tablespoon of brown sugar. So I'm going to let my KitchenAid do this kneading for me. You'll see I make a mess, and it's fine. It's a kitchen. It can be cleaned up. And I'm just going to let this knead. Takes a minimum of 6 minutes in the mixer. So I finally got my mixer to cooperate, got a really nice dough formed, and I'm going to get my scale out because I like to make sure each of my dough balls weigh about the same. So I'm weighing my dough ball and I want to get 12 bagels out of it. So I just take it, divide by 12, and now I know I need approximately 141 grams per dough ball to get me roughly 12 that are the same size. So I'm going to keep doing this until I have all my dough portioned out and I have 12 equal sized dough balls. So I have made this recipe one other time, and when I made that, I think I overproofed my dough and it gave me a little bit fluffier, airier end result bagel, and my husband and I devoured them. They were good with cream cheese. They were good made into breakfast sandwiches. That's how my husband preferred it, with some bacon, egg, and cheese on it. They were delicious, and I highly recommend this recipe. I think your family would love it. We do not buy bagels in the store anymore because of it. So here's all my dough balls, and I'm just trying to form them. I know people can do it on the counter. I am not that skilled. I just try and tuck it and fold it underneath, and it ends up working just fine for me. So I'm gonna get them all smooth, kind of like this top here, right there. I'm just gonna do that to all 12. So here's real life and where I messed up. I should have let these sit on the counter covered with a wet towel for 20 minutes, but I totally forgot. And so here I am forming them into the bagel, putting the hole, stretching them out. So when I got done with this, I actually let them sit for 40 minutes. Generally it's 20 minutes, form them, 20 minutes, but we all know I messed up before. So now I parchment paper, greased it, and I'm re-stretching them out just to make sure I get that hole as big as I can. And I'm gonna put them on the grease sheet. So now I need to spray them with Pam or avocado oil, whatever you have, wrap them in saran wrap, and then they're going to sit on the counter and rest again. So they've been resting, and again I'm going to stretch them out. I really want to make sure I have that good bagel hole for the morning when it comes time to boil and bake them. So I got those all stretched back out again. Now I'm going to cover them in a towel and let them rest yet again. I need them to get set up a little bit more so that we can do the float test. So it's been, I don't know, 20 probably minutes or so, and I'm just going to take one. I have some cold water here. I'm just going to drop it in. If it floats, then it's ready. So those are ready to get in the fridge, but this one I need to take and dry the water off so it doesn't end up getting funky on me. So I'm going to put these in the fridge overnight, minimum of 8 hours. It says up to 2 days. I've never done it that long, but I'm going to bake these in the morning. It is the next morning. My husband and my son are still in bed, while I'm getting these bagels ready for breakfast. So I'm going to get my water boiling. I've got a tablespoon of baking soda I'm adding to it. We're going to let that come up to a boil. So I'm boiling 1 to 2 bagels at a time. I'm not really timing it precisely, but I want each bagel to be in for 1 minute to 2 minutes, flipping halfway between if I remember. The longer you boil it, the chewier of a bagel you'll be. So me, I like a pretty chewy bagel, so I tend to want the 2-minute mark, whereas my son, who's almost 3, he kind of needs more of like the 1-minute mark right now yet. So I'm doing 3 different types. That one there is obviously going to be a everything bagel. So I ended up doing 4 everything bagels, 2 just plain, and then 6 Parmesan. Those are my 3 favorites, and I think that's mostly everyone's. Mostly everyone likes one of those 3 flavors. Here they are, getting ready to go in the oven. I think they look so pretty. Do these just not look amazing? Oh, they're so pretty. I love them. And they are hot, but I need to get them off of the cookie sheet and onto a cooling rack so that they can start to cool, because we need to leave soon, and I need them at least cool enough that I can package up to transport. Brunch was great. Everyone loved the bagels. Everything everyone brought was delicious, and it was a lot of fun. And love these bagels. They're already all gone. I think I came home with 2 left. So I'll have to make them again. Have a good day.